Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this CEO chat. And with us today, we have Lavell Juan Malloy, the CEO of Braghouse Holdings, a very interesting technology company. And let's just jump right in. Lavelle, can you tell us a little bit about Braghouse and what you see as the company's competitive advantages?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor to be here. So, Bragg House is a pioneering media tech company, and we are uniquely positioned at the intersection of college sports, gaming, and social interaction. And we've designed this so we can really capture the audience that primary audience that a lot of people are trying to reach, which is Gen Z, and enable an authentic way through data-driven insights to connect those to brands and other partners. Our competitive edge that we believe are four things. One, very integrated approach. What I mentioned before about college sports, gaming, and social interaction, those are three of the biggest social influences of Gen Z. Data insights. We put together a data model that collects proprietary behavioral insights, which goes beyond typical metrics such as likes and views. Strategic partnerships. Using all this, we've really gotten some of the best brands, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and now Learfield, which can really validate and approach our effectiveness. And then our operational efficiency. When we connect Gen Z, we have CPCs and CPMs that are higher than industry averages.
Thank you for that. You mentioned Gen Z. Can you tell us a little bit about Gen Z? This is your target addressable market. Can you tell us a little bit about, what makes it attractive for brands and how you interact?
Yeah, well, thank you. It's great question. Gen Z is our primary market, which is generally, ages 18 to 26. We focus more on ages 18 to 22, so predominantly college students. And I think what makes it such an interesting demographic, it's one of the hardest demographics to reach. They don't engage like everyone else. Some statistics that we find that 80% of them use ad blockers. Most of them don't engage in news or different things like we say. Their attention span is a lot shorter to get more bite-sized things. But the interesting thing is that they command approximately 360 billion in spender power alone. And we've targeted gaming because over 70% of Gen Z use gaming in some type of form of interaction. So the market opportunity, if you kind of really look at what Bragg House is saying, is that we have this hard to reach audience that we've kind of brought together. And then the way we brought it together for Bragg House, we operate on the conversions of not one, but three major industries: gaming, advertising, and data insights. Gaming with over 300 billion, advertising market with over 681 billion, and data insights with over 348 billion. So in short, what that means is that even a market penetration of just 0.5% would make a TAM of 6.7 billion.
Wow, that's a big opportunity.
Yeah, completely.
Can we drill down a little bit about market insights? You've talked in the past about building a database. Can you tell us a little bit about what the intention there is and where that stands right now?
Very good. I'd be happy to. So when we started doing this model and creating really just the digital side of it, though, we got such a good reaction. People were really, drawn to it. And then we wanted to figure out what was causing this. Why were they here? Why were they spending more time on the Bragg House platform than any other platform? So we started putting together these type of models, rewards, surveys, active triggers, really kind of looking at those things. I have a background of, well, I'm a full stack software developer. So we put all these things together and then we started aggregating them. And what we realized, when we got our McDonald's and Coca-Colas and we did our activation, we presented reports to them. And the reports were, this is how many conversions you got, ROIs, really impressive numbers. On the other half of that report was first-party behavioral data, interactions, and something that we said, wow, we were able to really predict lifestyle preferences, a lot of predictive behavior. And if you're a brand and someone can predict what is going to be the number one consumer thing, what if someone of the age group of 18 and 19 are going to like these new sneakers, that's a very valuable commodity. Because what you succeeded in doing at that point is you succeeded in now reducing the cost of acquisition for them to attract new clients. And that's been our value prop. So where we are right now, we've already built these models out. But I think what we're now trying to do is refine them. We're trying to refine them. We're trying to make them stronger. And we're trying to leverage the partnerships we have for scalability. So one such partnership is a Learfield partnership. And with that partnership, we now have a lot more access to other students being able to be put on the platform. And where we see ourselves in quarter one of quarter two, we think the best way to present this to the market is through a SaaS analytics platform. And that way, brands can subscribe to it. They can aggregate however they want to, and then they can get the information that they see. So that's kind of where we're going for it. Currently, we're at the building phases of it, and it's going very well. We plan to have a beta, I think, as I said, in quarter one and quarter two of next year.
Okay, great. Now you mentioned Learfield. First of all, can you give us a little bit, like just the short sentence on what Learfield is, number one, and number two, I think you've already done some initial events with them. Can you tell us anything about how you see that right now?
Yep. So Learfield is a billion-dollar conglomerate that owns the media rights to over 200 plus NCAA schools, mostly Division I schools. That's what they are. They partner with us. The reason is one, because we open up a new revenue source for them. And though they have access to millions and millions of students, again, because of how they engage, which is differently, they're using Bragg House to even get a better engagement experience with them. So it's actually a perfect partnership because what we've created now with them is a sports medium, a new sports medium, because as I mentioned before, Gen Z aren't sitting down watching hours and hours of sports. They aren't watching hours of the normal programming, baseball, all that stuff. I grew up playing baseball, so I watch 4 hours of it and I have no problem. But they didn't grow up that way. So we've put together our platform where now they can engage and we connect them through traditional sports. So that is something that's been really, really good. We had the partnership now carries us that we have access to all these 200 schools to take the same revenue model that we successfully built out for the McDonald's, Coca-Colas. We can now build that out to all these 200 plus universities. We have obviously now the support of the media license. So as you correctly said, we tested out a couple of activations to see the turnout in those activations. We partnered up with juxtaposed their baseball. We did an introduction to college football just to say, Learfield, Bragg House, both agree that both of those beta tests were a success. Hundreds and hundreds of students, came to participate. Thousands came to watch, and the engagement level was at an all-time high. So now what we're doing is we're preparing a series that is going to pretty much run parallel to the college football season, where we now have an activation that's juxtaposed to every single college game that's going on. And we plan to do that for each university, and we plan to do that for each sport in that university.
Sounds like you have a very ambitious calendar ahead of you.
To say the
So,
least.
so having said that, you actually recently just completed a financing, and with this calendar that you're, looking ahead to, with the database that you've been talking about, can you talk a little bit about the financing and some of the initiatives that we can expect to see?
Right. Well, we're really happy that, we have investors who kind of believed in us. We really recently closed, financing of $15 million. And what we plan to do with that is really, in short, it should further increase operations. One thing I will say before that is, from our latest Q that came out, we had a very strong balance sheet, cash positive. So we're already in a strong, good position. So now taking this, we feel like we can really go even faster to achieving revenue, which, we've told the street we're hoping to have in quarter three or quarter four. We're hoping we can get those things faster. We're hoping we can do more. And I think that basically breaks down into 5 parts. One is product and technology. Now we can really enhance more of our product and technology. We can really have improved data structures, deeper insights in Gen Z behaviors, marketing. Everything we've done so far, just to be honest with you, has been completely organic, and we're very proud of that. But now with this investment, we can focus a little bit more spend on market activities. One of the things we like to do is we still believe in market activities. So we focus on getting people from the community. We call it Collegiate Leads Program. And we're pretty much student ambassadors who are kind of the arms to Bragg House to kind of carry on the things we're doing. we're now focused again. This is probably under the product and technology, but we look at it as separate. Is really the SaaS platform development that I mentioned, accelerating that development of subscriptions-based SaaS analytics offering. We've made a recent announcement that we're looking into some NIL initiatives. That's really important for me personally as a college athlete, but also really, from my research, it's still an uneven playing field. Only the best athletes get paid. So to be able to provide something, these initiatives that could monetize opportunities for student athletes nationwide is something that's just very, very exciting. And it's a great mission statement for us as well. And lastly, it's really just operational efficiency and scalability. With this now, we've always worked on a very lean team, a very committed lean team. The extension was always to third parties, obviously, having people work, but now we're pretty excited that we can start building within on core hirees. Obviously, we would always make those hirees related to profitability, but now we can start building that. So overall, we think this is really going to help out our growth, and we're super excited and we're very thankful for the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that very comprehensive overview. A lot going on. I think we're at time at this point, and I want to thank you for your time and looking forward to the next CEO chat.
Looking forward to that as well. Again, thank you so much for having me on. It was actually a pleasure.